Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Truth Podcast. My guest today is Grant Newell, and I want to know what you do, dude.
Yeah, so I do finance, full-fledged accounting and consulting for small to medium-sized companies, mainly in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but we span all across the U.S., helping companies get their finances and things in order. As we have found, quite a few don't quite have it down, or it's been kind of pushed to the side for years, and they start to grow, and the finances get left behind in sometimes the prehistoric ages. And we try and bring that up to speed so that they can continue to grow and continue to mature as a company.
Yeah, that's really good because I understand that. I mean, people starting up, they're just trying to hustle, make cash, and oh my gosh, I'm making money, yay! And they don't even think about the whole bookkeeping thing.
Yeah, yeah. It tends to be a forgotten thing when you're growing fast, and I understand that as well, as you want to grow as fast as you possibly can. But a lot of times the IRS, they come in and your books aren't right and your finances aren't in the right place. It'll shut all growth down completely.
Yeah, yeah. Explain that. What do they have the right to do?
So, if you don't have proper documentation, if you don't have um, proper accounting, things accounted for correctly, they can, you know, in a sense, shut you completely down if they don't feel that things are in order because of the fines that they can impose on you. Which, I mean, we have seen a few companies that, hey, you know what? The fines are so hefty, they just don't have the money to do it. They just have to close the business. And I hate to see that happen. And so that's why, I beg and plead companies, come talk to either us or somebody about getting your finances in order so that you don't ever get to that point where, you know, your company is, in a sense, about to be done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't want that. We don't want that for any of
No.
us.
Well, and a
Um,
lot of these, they're right before they even really get started. It's like, oh, we're just starting to grow, and so the cash flow is starting to get bigger, but then they come in and get hit with something because they haven't kept a receipt for 6 years, and IRS says that's not all right. Here's a fine, and it's all the money they have in the bank.
wow.
And I hate to see that before companies even get a chance.
So that's a warning to everybody out there. You really do have to keep your finances in order, your ducks in a row, and you know, it's just a part of business, and you have to be good at that part of business, or you have to farm that out, to other people. Can I ask you this? I know there's no such thing as an overnight success. So can you tell me a little bit about the journey or the struggles or the things that you've had to come across so far in your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, so this is my second time around. My first time, I did a sports training business. I played college football at Oklahoma State,
Nice.
and I just assumed that since I like to work out, I should go be a sports or personal trainer. So I started up a business, and I trained people in their homes and high school and college players at the high schools. And so basically, I got that going. Within 3 months, I had grown the business to doing about $100,000 a year and was doing well. But I made the mistake that I think a lot of entrepreneurs make is I built the company all around myself. And so when something hit me, it hit the whole business. And so I had shoulder surgery, which put me out of commission for 6 months. And within those 6 months, I proceeded to lose all of my clientele, um, pretty much everything that I had built for the company. And from there, I tried to navigate two sales of the business, had some crazy events happen in the process of selling those, and I ended up having to dissolve the business.
Mm.
So my first business venture was unsuccessful, but I say that I learned more from that than I have in the successes today.
That makes a lot of sense because we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
And I think that sometimes when you go through that, the pain that it causes you, it really imprints something upon you to say how important those topics and those subjects really are. And
Hmm.
then you can grow and learn from those mistakes and then come back even stronger.
Yeah, and I think what happens is a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't want to ever talk about their failures, or you want to seem like you got it all together and you're doing great, and we forget to share those things that we faltered in so that the person behind us doesn't make those same mistakes. And so it's not been easy, but I try to talk about it so that people know and don't make the same mistakes that I made. Because I think you get into the idea of, well, I'm making money, I don't want to share it, and the selfish habit of it really, it leads you to a path of destruction, and you're chained. Because as long as you are the only person bringing in revenue, you'll never truly be free, which is why I think a lot of entrepreneurs start, is because they want the freedom and things like that. Um, and I've learned that a lot of that comes when you decide to share with others and allow other people to come in and help you.
I totally agree with that. We want to wear every hat because hey, nobody does it as good as we do. Yeah, right. I've learned really, really quickly that everybody does it better than me. So, in certain areas, though, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they're not going to come on and have my voice or my vibe or that type of thing. But yet, okay, so accounting, yeah, not my thing. That type of stuff. So I'm very real. And when you share your failures, you're very real to the people that you're talking to. So they get a level of trust with you. Hey, that's just an everyday guy, which is absolutely the truth. You know. So, but you really need that. You need that to attract the people that are supposed to be in there with you and helping you. I'm working on a couple of projects with a couple of different people that I've had on here, and it's really cool. It's like, wow, they're really good at this. I'm glad they're
Yeah.
glad.
And I think when you learn to collaborate in partnership and sort of allow yourself to be okay with the idea, you start to see things grow and you start to see things blossom and expand further than you can expand it yourself. And then you start to see this dream that you once had, come to fruition.
Yeah, definitely. And when you start seeing that dream, you better contact you, or that dream could go up in smoke.
Yes, exactly. I'm always like, okay, I come in and help you out with the things that you don't really want to deal with, nobody really wants to deal with, so that you can continue to do what you want to do, which is grow your business, do what your business does. Because most entrepreneurs don't start their business to do the accounting.
No, no, unless it's an accounting business.
Right.
Then maybe that's what they did it for. But other than that,
Right.
no, it's
Right.
not. It's not most people's passion. I'll just tell
Right.
you, you know. But I think it's so necessary because it's something we overlook.
Right.
We're looking at, oh, I got to hire some people to help me out and VAs and stuff to get some things, take some things off me so I can do the sales portion of what I do. Those type of things. But when you're hiring a team, a bookkeeper is one of the first people you should actually hire.
Right. Yeah. And I agree. The earlier you start, the better things are, um, because cleanup time takes quite a bit of time.
Depends on how many years you've been doing it wrong.
That is very true.
You seem like such a fun-loving person. I mean, I think it would be fun to work with you, to be honest, just the vibe that I get from you.
Yeah, no, and that's what I try and do is I try, finances can sometimes get minute and boring, and so I try and bring some flair to it, some funniness to keep things light because I mean, staring at numbers all day can kind of put people to sleep. So you
Yeah,
have to
for sure.
have a little bit of flair to you and get
Right.
things going.
Right. Yeah. Bring a magic show, something. Yeah.
I'll make sure to try that at my next board meeting.
Probably, look, I hit the numbers here, and no, I'm kidding. Not that kind of magic. I'm just kidding.
No.
No, I'm just joking around. But this is actually a really serious topic because people go in and they have a passion for what they're doing and they're crushing it and they're just happy and they're providing for their family. And all of a sudden, whoops, we didn't keep anything for the last few years. If that happens, if that's the situation, then what do you do? I mean, how do you come in and like solve that problem or help that person?
So, one of the best things that I learned early on whenever I started doing this, I read a book called Profit First. So I can't necessarily take credit for this, but it's been one of the most beneficial things that I've learned is this guy, he talks about taking 1% of all the revenue that you bring in and you set it aside, and that's your profit. That's for you as the entrepreneur, as the owner of the business to take home. That's your profit at the end of the year, because too many times when people look at balance sheets and profit and loss, they're like, cool, it says that I made $20,000 this year. But when you go and look at the bank, there is not $20,000 in the bank. And so you're like, but it says I made $20,000. Where is that? And a lot of times it's a accounting thing and to make your books look better than maybe the business actually did. And you don't have it. And so what I've learned is setting aside 1% every time money comes in. So you get $100 in from Lisa, and you put $1 into a separate bank account that's made for profits. So every time money comes in, it's set aside so that at the end of the year, if it says you made 20,000, then you have $20,000 in the bank, and that's for you as the owner, because you should get your money, because that's why you made the business. And so when it's out of sight, out of mind, then a lot of times people don't use it. Now, of course, it's there in case of emergencies, but I try to encourage, do not touch it. Don't think about it. Pretend it's not even there, because that's really yours to take home.
Okay, so walk me through why it's 1%. I guess I'm a little lost there.
Okay, so yeah, so really 1% is because it's so small that a lot of people, like you said, they haven't taken home any money for years. So they're extremely fearful of taking money away from the business, that it will fail, that it won't work. But, most people can run $100,000 business off of $99,000. It's not a big jump,
Right, right.
So that's why, we start at 1%. Is the goal to move up? Yes. But 1% is really to get it started. Because, if I jump to 5%, somebody who's running $100,000 business, going down and saying, let's run it at 95,000 it kind of makes them nervous. And so I try to say, hey, you know what? Let's start with 1%. 1% works. Let's move to 2, and so on and so forth. And cut things where we can, make more money where we can, and sort of work in a sense to, what I hope to be, 10% profit, 20% profits. But 1% is sort of that starting.
That sounds good. What about the people who start their business and they're like, "Hey, guess what? I have money," and they spend it all. I'm
Those
just
are
being
usually the
honest because
scary
I've
ones.
seen that.
That's usually the scary one, is when you have money to start a business, because you assume that it's going to keep going, and you get this false reality of, hey, you know what? There's always going to be money here. And so you just spend it freely. But then eventually the day will come where you don't have money and things are tight because things in the economy change and all of that, and now you don't know how to operate in a business.
Mm,
And that's why I always think that the best businesses are the ones that are started with nothing, because when times are hard, they know how to operate a business when things are slim.
that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Okay, so are you involved in helping people with their taxes as well?
We do help people with that. We outsource to a CPA that will
Oh,
help
okay.
with the taxes.
Okay.
We don't have one on staff, as CPAs are pretty expensive.
Right.
So we outsource. We don't. Some accounting firms will upcharge you. The CPA will charge $75. They charge you $100. We pass it through because we're like, man, they're already expensive. Uh, so we go ahead and pass it through just directly to the client and don't upcharge it at all, which is pretty unheard of in our industry.
Yeah.
But you know, I, I always think, and there's no point in upcharging. It doesn't. I don't need that extra $25 an hour that the CPA charges, and you don't need those expenses either.
Well, that's really good. That is really, really good. So I have built up this business. Um, is there anything either like internally or externally that's held you back, like limiting beliefs or just some disaster in this business that's actually held you back, or you've been doing really good?
Um, so whenever I came into this, um, it's me and another guy that work on it. He we sort of came together because he had been doing it solo for like 25 years. And so he needed to figure out how to expand. And so he said, okay, well, you know what? You grew your sports training business so quickly. Um, he goes, let's see if we can do something together, work together. I had nothing. I had no experience in finance. Um, had a general studies degree from Oklahoma State, so not much credibility there. Uh, but he is a Harvard MBA, so we have leveraged that in quite a few situations. And compared to my general studies from Oklahoma State, we don't we don't
You're not
discuss
putting that
that.
on the wall. Okay.
No, we're not putting that one on the wall. We put the Harvard MBA on the wall, and um, unfortunately, in our field, that matters.
Right.
Um,
Does.
and so that combination of, because he's 56 or 57, so we've kind of tried to find the middle ground of old school and new school, and using his experience with sort of my modern day flair, I guess you could call it,
That makes sense.
to grow the business and expand in a way that it's been hard. There have been difficulties because you know when you bring somebody from an older generation with somebody from a newer generation, a lot of times you both have things that you want to do, and there can sort of be that friction. But I think working through that and having open and honest discussions have really helped and benefited us, and that combination has really worked.
I was about to say, hey, now I'm 50, so watch yourself there, young man. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
well, the good thing is I think there's value in both, because I don't necessarily have the experience of 50 years on this earth, but I sort of have the passion and the energy and
Yeah,
things, and so I think when you combine those together, it's created something really well. Because, like you said, you don't know what you don't know,
yes,
and him having an extra 25 years on me, uh, he has an extra 25 years of things that I don't know.
exactly. And the experience, but maybe you're in touch where he may not be as in touch with the newer clientele. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
to
think
learn the new things, I guess.
yeah, well, and that's the great thing is what's really worked is he's been open to doing new things, and he's open to trying things. And I think too many times that um, people my age aren't open to listening to the wisdom from older people, and older people aren't willing to listen to the things that are coming and the things that are
Hmm.
um, changing in this world. And so I think um, yeah, the balance that we found in both of that has really worked.
That's a unique and a dynamic approach to things because you have the best of both worlds, really.
Yeah, and that's what the funny part is um, I really felt like we met through church, and I really felt like God sort of orchestrated it because I'm like, there's really no way I wasn't looking to get into finance. I don't really know if he was looking to expand like this, but it just sort of organically happened, and things started to grow and blossom, and it has been wonderful.
What is the name of your business? We haven't talked about that yet.
It's the Joseph Group.
The Joseph Group. Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, how many Josephs do you have? I'm just kidding.
we currently have 8. Yeah.
Oh wow, that
All named
derailed.
Joseph. Everybody is named Joseph.
What a board meeting that is.
This is Joseph 1. This is Joseph 2.
Hey Joseph, can you get me those expense reports? Sure. And everybody jumps up like the part out of Spaceballs.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I want you to tell everybody how that you can they can get a hold of you and stuff like that, where you're available, what you offer, those type of things.
Yeah. I'm really working on being more active on LinkedIn. I think I've had a lot of fun posting on there and posting things about business and accounting and sort of my personal life as well. And so I'm on LinkedIn. I think that's probably the most active where I'm at currently. Um, we're working on a website. That's one of those,
Cool.
modern day. He's just been working word of mouth, and so we've started to grow to where, okay, we need a website. So we're working on that, and hopefully we'll have that here in the next couple of months. Um, but yeah, I think if people want to get a hold of me, I think LinkedIn is probably the best.
Okay. And for everyone out there, your name is Grant Newell, correct?
Yes.
I want to make sure
N-E-W.
that they know that, because if they're
Yeah.
looking on LinkedIn, they might want to know who you are.
Yes,
No,
that's
I'm
very true.
messing. It will be in the title and the description and all that. I'll put a LinkedIn link down in the show notes as well. If you could give advice to any new entrepreneurs just starting out, what would it be?
Well, for starters, make sure that you keep all of your receipts and match. QuickBooks has made it really easy nowadays for entrepreneurs that are just starting. I even think I saw a commercial the other day where you can scan from your phone, scan your receipt, and match it up with the transactions. So that's something really easy that they've really come around and made innovations there that I think are really helpful. But I think keeping your receipts are a big one. The IRS, if they ever want to come look, you have them. And another thing would be, like I said, start with 1%, taking that as a profit from all the money you make. You can operate on 99%. Most people can, and start from there so that you start making quite a bit, then you can slowly, gradually build up. But I think starting with that, then you start your business doing what you ultimately want to do, which is create freedom for yourself and your family.
It sounds great. That sounds great. Well, I really appreciated having you on the show today. It's been a pretty good experience. We've had a lot of fun and stuff like that. Anything else you want to the floor is yours now to tell the audience, anything you would like to tell?
I think the biggest thing that I have learned and I would like to share is that don't be afraid to bring other people into your business when you can, so that you can expand and create the lifestyle that you want to make, and so that you protect yourself from when things happen in your business or to you, the business doesn't go under with you or your health. You're creating something sustainable and long term.
That makes a lot of sense. It really does. Well said. Well said.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you everybody for listening today. And please hit the subscribe button. We need some more subscribers and stuff, I guess. And hit the bell, whatever that thing does. You can do that too. Just kidding. I know what it does. So, all right. And thank you for being on, Grant. And I will talk.